Hey everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome to the PTR Patch Notes, the Heroes of the Storm. They've just come out. They're not even on the website properly yet, but we can find them through the game client. I haven't even had time to read through these. We're just going to go and do this kind of live. First impressions, initial looks, and some analysis of what's going to be changing. It looks like there's a Murky rework. Lucio details, everything like that. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm strapped for time, so that's the way we got to do it today, unfortunately. And oh, if you want to check out the gameplay of the Murky rework and all the other stuff that will presumably be coming in this, that will be up on the channel tomorrow. Might even live stream some of it, so stay tuned for that sort of stuff. You can follow me on Twitter, subscribe, whatever you want in order to catch that. Anyway, let's go. All right, so here we go. Obviously playtesting until Feb 13th. Pretty cool. And there's also, you might not have heard actually, it was announced earlier today, but there is going to be a new cross-franchise promotion here with World of Warcraft this time. So you play 15 games with a Warcraft hero and a friend in your party in Heroes of the Storm. And you will basically get, in World of Warcraft, the Primal Flame Saber mount. In Heroes of the Storm, you get 10 days stim pack, and you get the Flames of Judgment Charger mount, which is pretty cool. Nice little bonus for you to... yeah, just unlock by playing stuff with your friends. I'm excited to do that too. Now we got Lucio coming out. He's the new support, again, the in development video, and gave him a bit of a preview for what he can do. He's got wall ride on his trait, which is pretty interesting. Gives him a bit of movement speed while he's walking along walls, and he can pass through units. So that opens up some pretty cool gameplay. His Q is a knockback, so obviously we've got potential synergies there. Wall ride behind, knock someone back. His W, he can either switch between healing people and an aura around him, or giving them a small speed boost. Then his E, amp it up for 3 seconds. It massively increases the speed boost or massively increases the healing. So going to be very much playing around these abilities. Sound barrier, his first heroic here, the same as from Overwatch, of course. He slams the ground and gives a huge shield that decays over 6 seconds to heroes that are nearby. Or then reverse amp, which seems pretty cool. So he will shoot his supporting aura at the enemies instead as a sort of a debuffing aura. So either it will slow their movement speed massively or do lots of damage every second, which is pretty nice, and also increase the amp it up duration. So pretty interesting stuff. I'm excited to play Lucio. Seems like a really creative and cool support. I was more like Team Symmetra myself, but you know what? I'm good with Lucio. It's pretty cool too. So Murky has received icon and visual effects that coincide with his rework. I have no idea what they are. We're going to get to them very, very soon. And then we got some visual effects upgraded for Grunty, Murky, cool. Thrall, Earthquake. The outer edge of Earthquake's area of effects being made more visually apparent. That's actually a pretty big deal. And then Lamp Spout on... Alright, cool. And then Time Trap stuff for Dream Genie Chromie. For all those Dreamy Cronies you've seen. I've seen none. So there you go. Anyway, here we are. There's going to be the Ribbit Lucio bundle. That is, of course, the skin that's coming with that. Love is in the Air bundle, which has, I think it's a Tyrande skin. There's a mount. Is there something else? There might be one other hero. Is there another hero? No, I think that's it. That's it, I think. Then we got the Lunar Festival bundles are going away, and the Love is in the Air bundle will be here for 2017 and the classic one, which is great. And yeah, let's get into the class changes, the interesting stuff. Let's go. So Assassins, first up. Falstad, Hinterland Blast, new functionality. The cooldown is reduced by 25 seconds for every enemy hero hit. That's pretty awesome. We could see some mix-ups into how Falstad is played. Yeah, that would definitely, this makes this a much more appealing heroic that you're going to have it up more often. Can use it a bit more liberally, maybe in terms of getting ganks. And then, have it up for multiple team fights, over something like the tributes on Cursed Hollow or something. That could be pretty cool to see. We'll see how that goes. Greymane, Mark for the Kill, his heroic's been renamed to Cursed Bullet. They don't do that very often. They very rarely rename a heroic. Okay, and the new functionality fires a bullet that hits the first hero in its path, dealing 35% of their current health as damage. Cannot hit vehicles. Oh, okay, so we've got new terminology. This is presumably the Garden Terror and the Dragon Knight. It's a 30-second cooldown, costs 50 mana. Okay, so you got a new heroic, 35% of current health is damage. That's pretty interesting. So going at it from the other side of things, of doing like some burst damage at the start of the team fight, then going in instead of being like the finisher, which is go for the throat. Very, very intriguing. I'm not sure if this puts you back in human form or not. It's not entirely clear from this. We'll have to test that out, but that sounds pretty cool. Definitely a very different style of play, and that's a big chunk of health as damage. Obviously, going to be more impactful on bursting down warriors and stuff like that. So that could be cool. That could be quite cool. We'll see. I'm excited to test that out. Gilnean Roulette, which is the upgrade for the now called Cursed Bullet. New functionality calls Cursed Bullet hit all enemies in its path. Reduces its cooldown by 5 seconds per hero hit. That also sounds okay. Not bad. His level 20s aren't the most impactful, I would say, so that could be kind of strong. I don't feel like the cooldown reduction is going to be overly relevant, because obviously as current health is going to get weaker and weaker the less health they have. It's not max health damage you're doing, it's current health. So if you're on 10% health, this is going to hit you like a wet fish. It's not going to do anything. That would probably actually hit pretty hard now I think about it. Big fish? Yeah, I don't know. It's going to not hit very hard, so definitely for poking. This could be pretty interesting. Not sure about the level 20, but this potentially at level 10 could be good. It's got a very short cooldown. And yeah, against some of these tankier heroes, very cool. Alright, Ragnos. Ooh, been nerfed. This is a huge deal. Okay. Resilient Flame, been nerfed. This is, you get 50 armor whenever you're stunned, and it lasts 3 seconds. It now has a 10-second cooldown between activations. There's a button on the hotbar so the cooldown can be tracked. That's a huge deal, because that was such a powerful level 13. It's definitely going to tweak Ragnos' strength. He's still going to be, in my opinion, oh well, actually, we'll find out as we see the rest of the changes here, but the rest of these changes aside, he is still going to be, in my opinion, the best assassin in the game, the best melee assassin in the game. The Q talent at level 13 is also very good. This one is excellent. It really protects you from like pick compositions and stuff like that, so it's still going to be good, but not as good, and I think it's a fairly reasonable nerf for Ragnos, but he's still going to be probably the best. Thrall, Earthquake, will go off even if Thrall's interrupted during his cast animation. Alright, so making Earthquake more consistent. And Sunder will go off even if Thrall's interrupted during his cast animation. Their 2 heroics are overly sensitive to being interrupted. Okay, I didn't actually know that was a bug, but I have obviously done it before, like Sergeant Hammer knocking back Thrall can interrupt the cast time, the casts of these things, and put them on cooldown. So they're going to activate even if you're interrupted. So making Thrall more consistent, that's actually a pretty big deal. Or like stunned during that as well. That's a pretty big deal. So we'll see how that goes. This may, yeah, it's interesting that they're considering it more of like a bug or something that needs to be fixed. It's kind of unusual. I'm curious to see whether they might apply that to more heroes going forwards. Because like interrupting animations to put stuff on cooldown, like with Mosh Pit or something like that, is a fairly legitimate thing. But they don't want that to be the case with Thrall, which is kind of intriguing to me. Valeera has got, a whole ton of buffs. Okay, basic attack damage slightly increased. Her health has been slightly increased. That's very intriguing because her health is already very, very high. Health regeneration has been reduced a little bit though. Okay. The ambush, so Q from stealth, the energy cost has been greatly reduced. The silence duration of Garrote has been increased. The impact damage has been reduced. And the damage over time has been reduced. Okay, so you're using your E now more for the silence, and it's slightly longer, but it's going to do significantly less damage, and that's going to be even more impactful as it scales, obviously. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Cloak of Shadows, the cooldown's reduced even a little more, and the duration has been increased by 50%. That's a pretty big deal, making Cloak of Shadows much more appealing. I still find it difficult to think of a situation where you'd rather that over Smoke Bomb, even still. But I'm certainly intrigued by it, and we'll see how it goes. One thing to note is that this will sync up a bit more with your Vanish cooldown, kind of. Every second Vanish, you'll have Cloak of Shadows ready, so that might matter a little bit. I don't really think so, though. But anyway, it's worth noting anyway. But yeah, this is definitely... I like the Garrote change, probably. And I definitely like the ambush change. Ambush definitely felt like the weakest by far of the stealth openers, and why would you use it? Now you have the advantage of saying, well, okay, it's going to do noticeably more damage than the other ones, and it's going to give you noticeably more energy. So it's a lot more damage output with the Q. That's good. Your E's then for the silence, and then for a little bit of damage, and then W for not much damage at all, but the stun. Okay, cool. We got some talent changes for her as well. Crippling Poison, which is the slow. The duration has been increased, which is a pretty big deal. And then Wound Poison, the duration has been increased as well. Very intriguing. These might open up some other options here. Definitely, I think Valeera will be a hero that's definitely going to be worth testing out. Distance between enemy heroes reduced from 5 to 4 range. Okay, so this is the talent that improves the damage of your Q if they are heroes that are a certain range apart. It's now 4 range, which is fairly actually usable. And that could definitely open up some things here. Death from above, the teleport range increased from 5 to 7. Okay, I'm definitely feeling like a Q build could become pretty interesting to try out now for Valeera. So you got an extra 10 energy from every Q. It's now much easier to trigger, much bigger bonus damage. And the range for teleporting has been significantly increased. That could definitely become a thing. And then like going in with your poisons or something. Very interesting. I like, broadly speaking, what they're doing here. Rupture, functionality, basic attacks against corroded enemies. Also increase the damage over time effect by 5%, stack them to 30%. This makes sense because this was such a weird one. It was like you do a 7-second, wasn't it? A 7-second damage over time effect. And every basic attack refreshes it. But you're almost going into stealth and using Garrote again anyway, so it didn't really matter. It was kind of one of those weird things where what was that talent actually doing? Cool idea of your basic attacks interacting, but it didn't really make much sense. Now it does more damage. Bear in mind that the damage over time has been reduced. I'm not sure I actually see the purpose of this still. For example, I think you can get vulnerability on your Eviscerate, which would seem to be much more useful in general than this. But it's something that's there. We'll see. We feel that Valeera needs a small increase in power to help her overall win rate. We're hoping to do so without adding much more burst damage or disabling effects. Okay. Change to her health and basic attack damage should give her a boost. Change to talents, ambush, and Garrote should create harder decision making for the rogue. While we were looking at her health regen, we noticed that it was actually higher than intended. Most heroes take 480 seconds to regenerate their entire health pool, which is why we reduced it slightly. Great. We increased the duration on Cloak of Shadow so that increased the duration on Cloak of Shadow so predicting abilities is easier to accomplish. You want to be a rewarding high skill cap ability, but with the old tuning, it struggled to compete with Smoke Bomb. I think it's still going to struggle to compete with Smoke Bomb. I like how they've made Ambush actually a good choice now, so that's cool. I'm still a little bit skeptical about the changes to Garrote and to Rupture here, but it's something along the right directions, and I like that they're buffing Cloak of Shadows and trying to make that more viable as well. I'm quite intrigued about the poisons here at 1 and 4. That could be kind of cool, so we'll see. Zul'jin level 4. No longer dismounts Zul'jin when it's activated while mounted. I never chose that, so I never knew that was a bug, but that's cool that it is a thing. Varian over here then. Oh, the banners are moved to 16. Oh, wow. We like that Mortal Strike and Shattering Throw are great counter options for certain team comps, but thought they came just a little too late to draft Varian specifically for them. Yeah, definitely. Very interesting. So you get your banners at 16, and you get Juggernaut, Mortal Strike, or Shattering Throw at 13. You know what? I quite like that. So it's going to open up more of his niche stuff. It's going to make his pick potential. Tank Varian is incredibly strong right now. Tank Varian with Juggernaut at 13, you've got some crazy mid-game pick potential. I think he's a very, very scary hero. And then you get the banner for the more team fighting later on. Yeah. I'm just trying to think, is this a buff or a nerf? I feel like this will mostly be... I feel like it's probably going to be a buff. And maybe not the most pleasant way, dealing with like a Juggernaut Variant earlier. But I do like the idea here. Again, like, yeah, sure, Mortal Strike and Shattering Throw, they're great to counter certain compositions, but they came so late in the draft. So yeah, very interested about that. Varian is definitely a hero to watch in this next patch. He's going to be, he already is insanely strong. The Tank Variant specifically, Tank Variant is so strong. Especially with the buff to overpower. So yeah, one to watch here. That's crazy. They're just switching talent tiers, just completely flipping them. I don't know if they've ever done that before. That's a big deal. Abathur, Q damage increased slightly. This is Symbiote. His W damage in Symbiote. The spike bursts increased slightly, and the shields increased. Okay, so they literally just went and slightly buffed Abathur in a number of ways. I think that's fairly reasonable, because he has been, sort of underperforming. And they just seem like small little buffs. But yeah, Abathur going to be slightly better now. Let's get into Murky. This is the big one, guys. Murky. Base max health increased actually quite a bit from 635 to 761. That's almost... yeah, it's almost like a... I don't know, it's like a 15-20% almost. Not quite that much. But that's a pretty... Relatively speaking, that's a pretty big buff. Okay, abilities. Spawn egg. Resurrect time while Murky's egg is active. Increase from 5 to 8 seconds. Okay, that's a pretty big change. So you're not going to get like super duper benefits of your egg. It's not going to become as beneficial as early. Your Q, the slow amount, is increased from 20 to 25%, so there's going to be more substantial slow from your Q. Okay. Pufferfish does half damage to structures, can be targeted by structures, and has 225 health and takes damage from abilities. The explosion radius has been increased by 50%. Wow, so there's a big change to his W. Half damage to structures, so it's not a structure pushing tool and will be targeted by them. It has a little bit of health, pretty small amount of health, and takes damage from abilities, so it's going to be easier to clear. So yeah, they made it much easier to clear, but it's going to also have a bigger explosion radius. We'll see how the talents mix in with this. March of the Murlocs, cooldown has been reduced, and the movement speed has been increased. Okay, so March just appears to be just bigger. Alright, level 1, and this is where things get messy, because everything's moved around. Let's see, can I actually log into the PTR right now? Or will the new patch be applied? Let's actually try that, because I always find with big talent reworks like this, it can be very difficult to see. So we'll see how that works. Okay, fingers crossed, everyone. Hey, it's bringing up allow access. That's always a good sign. All right, bear with me. Have a cup, have a sip of your tea. Some Earl Grey tea. And yeah, we'll see what the talents are. I would love to show you this in the actual game. That would be much, much better. If this doesn't work, again, I will have a Murky video up very early tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that, and we'll go through all this stuff. Game. Okay, so it's not working quite yet. Right, we're gonna make our way as best we can through the patch notes right here. All right, fish tank is moved to level 13. Okay, that's I think the best way to work this out. Level 1, we've got fish eye, egg hunt, and a fishy deal. So egg hunt and a fishy deal. Here we go. New talent, egg hunt, active. Activate to place a fake egg. If the fake egg dies, it casts slime. Maximum 3 fake eggs with a 6-second cooldown. Upon spawning from an egg, Murky is stealthed for 5 seconds. Alright, well that alone is a huge change. So you can... I love that. That's so sneaky. Alright, new talent, a fishy deal, active. Killing an enemy minion with pufferfish grants 1 stack of bribe. Use 5 bribe stacks to capture a single merc, maximum 20 stacks. Wow. So that's like a very... Obviously, you're going to have to time your pufferfish correctly, but that could be a very quick way and a skill-based way of building up bribe stacks very quickly and taking over merc. So that's egg hunt, a fishy deal. What was the other one? Fish eye trait. Fish eye. Where's fish eye? Slippery one wet. Fish eye. Here we go. Alright, so this was a salt egg before. So your egg has 100% bonus health. It has 200% sight bonus radius. It reveals stealth to enemies and increases your movement speed to 45% for 5 seconds after spawning. That's really cool. Okay, so your choices at level 1 here are going to be like bribe generated through pufferfish kills on minions, through placing loads of fake eggs around the place, and then being stealthed after you come out of eggs. So letting you place your egg much more aggressively near objectives and being able to utilize that much more. Or just having like a tankier egg that gives you vision, and then you can like come super speed out of it. That's very, very cool. I love this idea. So a salt egg is more like you're confident about the objective and you want to go in hard and you're not worried about your egg being attacked. Egg hunt is a bit more like, I'm not sure, a bit more defensive, a bit safer, a bit sneakier, or then just I want to split push and yeah, just not really take part in the team fights. Pretty cool stuff. Level 4, we got slime, trail, tougher fish, and living the dream. So pretty much most of the same stuff here. Tougher fish redesigned. Pufferfish does 35% more damage to slime targets, and it gains 50 spell armor. Okay, cool. Living the dream doesn't passively grant ability power. Instead, you get 1% AP every 5 seconds. Oh, instead of doing that, so you get 5% ability power every 15 seconds for a maximum of 15% bonus ability power. So it's like less... It works a bit worse if you're dying more often. So 5% ability power every 15 seconds. So it would take 45 seconds, the better part of a minute to get 15% bonus ability power. So it's a bit of a nerf, I think, to that overall. We've got slime time as well. I think it's just this one. Yeah. Quest. There we go. Quest at level 4. Slime enemy heroes that are already slimed. After 15, increases the bonus damage by a lot. After 30, increases the slow amount to 35%. So that's a pretty big like team fighting boost. So either just more ability power from not dying, you get a quest to just do a lot more. This seems pretty good. I'm not sure about the scaling, but it seems like a pretty powerful talent. Your Q's going to do a lot more damage, and then will also slow a lot more, so way powerful in team fights. Or Pufferfish. Your Pufferfish will do more damage to slime targets, obviously making it easier to kill minions with Pufferfish and get bribes as well. Bear that in mind. And spell armor, so it can't be destroyed as easily. Alright, cool. Level 7, what do we have at level 7? Black Lagoon, Slippery When Wet, and Time to Krill. Oh boy. Time to Krill. Basic attacks against heroes deal an additional 8 damage per second and slow the target's move speed by 10% for 5 seconds. This effect can stack up to 5 times. Okay, so your basic attacks keep applying a stacking damage over time effect and a stacking 10% slow up to a 50% slow. Wow, alright, alright. Now we're talking. What was the other one? There was Slippery When Wet. Here we go. Increase movement speed of your E to 35%, and you can pass through enemies while safety bulb is activated. Okay. I'm digging Time to Krill. What was the other one called? Oh, man. Black Lagoon. Black Lagoon. I'm not sure if search functions work here, do they? No, they do not. They do not. Black Lagoon, here we go. Bigger slime. Move to level 7, Black Lagoon. It just increases the radius of your slime, something like 35%, something like that. Bigger slime. I'm digging the freaking Time to Krill. Sounds amazing. That sounds so useful. Just stacking move speed slow in your basic attacks. That sounds really good. Alright, level 10 is presumably still the exact same. Except, obviously, March of the Murlocs, they now go faster, which is a big deal, and a shorter cooldown. Rejuvenating Bubble, Fish Tank, and Eggshell at 13. Eggshell, new talent. Respawning from an egg grants Murky a shield equal to 100% of his max health. The shield lasts indefinitely. Alright, pretty cool. So again, tying into this more aggressive egg placement and dying and coming back into the fight idea. Interesting. Something here, 13 was up here. Fish Tank. Basic attacks against enemy heroes grant Murky 75 basic attack armor for 2 seconds. Holy shit. Holy shit. Just 75 basic attack armor, guys. 2 seconds every time you basic attack. Oh, and by the way, Time to Krill. You're slowing them down and applying a dot. Oh, and by the way, applying multiple Qs, you're doing a whole bunch of bonus damage and slow amounts. So Murky's becoming like this grey main counter. Oh, boy. The hardcore grey main counter. 35% my current HP. I don't give a shit, man. I'm Murky. I've got no HP. Interesting. What was the other one here? Rejuvenating Bubble, Fish Tank, Eggshell. That's them all, I think. Rejuvenating Bubble, sorry. I think we missed that, which is here. Just moved to 13. So I think it heals you for something like half of your HP or something like that whenever you use E, which is pretty interesting. Level 16 then. Toxic Buildup, Fish Oil, Wrath of Cod. Toxic Buildup, new talent Q. Attacking enemy hero 3 times causes a slime to cast from their position. Wow. Basic attack Murky build. Here we go, boys. Fish Oil. 16. Fish Oil. Rename to Fish Oil. Slimy Pufferfish. I believe this is your W. Casts slime when you throw it. Okay, cool. Not bad either. Wrath of Cod. Wrath of Cod. Renamed Fish Oil. Wrath of Cod. Wrath of Cod, move to 16. Pufferfish deals bonus damage to heroes equal to 10% of their max health over 5 seconds. Alright, that doesn't seem bad either. I'm totally digging like basic attack build on Murky. That's what I want to try out. Then Big Kahuna, Making Ink. Okay. New talent, Big Tuna Kahuna. Murky's max health and egg respawn times are doubled. Okay, so twice as much max health, but twice as long to respawn from your egg, so 16 seconds respawn timer. Bear in mind, this is very late in the game, so that's pretty powerful. There's also that one, which is, yeah, Eggshell. Murky gains a shield equal to 100% of his max health. So Murky becomes a real big problem here at this particular level. That's pretty interesting. And then Never-Ending Murlocs. March of the Murlocs can be channeled indefinitely. Redesign. Okay. And Making Ink. Rename to Making Ink. Okay, so 2-second cooldown reduction off your Q. Murderer! Rise, my brother Murlocs. Vengeance will be ours. In examining Murky, his original health and egg timers are vestiges of a different time, created before even Jaina entered the Nexus. We wanted to give him more base health and make him a little harder to burst down, but traded it for a little longer time to respawn for his egg. This is the added bonus of allowing a bit more counterplay to hunting our fishy friend. We also wanted to adjust Pufferfish This increasingly high amount of the roster could immediately explode it. Yeah. Okay, cool. Finally, his talent tree has been updated to come in line with our new philosophies. Not only found this Murky much more fun to play as, some exciting talents in each tier, but also more fair to fight against. Rawr. This is very interesting. I'm very excited to try out this new Murky with, like... Oh, what were these ones here? It's like a fishy deal, but like slime time, time to krill. Oh, man. Maybe March of the Murlocs. Oh, I'm super excited. I'm super excited to try this out. It looks so cool. Super hyped for the Murky rework. There you go, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How does Murky sound? And stay tuned. Tomorrow, we're going to have a video up looking at Murky and trying out. We might even do a couple of videos on Murky because it's a pretty big deal trying out a few different builds. That could be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Nazebo. Plague of Toads. Targeting indicator. More accurately reflects the Toad's travel path. Great. And level 7 Dead Rush. Cancelling zombie wall will now provide up to 5 uprooted zombies. Okay, so when you cancel your wall early, you're still going to get the zombies from Dead Rush. Alright, cool. Displacement grenade. Reveal a small area around the grenade as it travels. Okay, doesn't seem like a huge deal, but helps you landing that, you know, if you're trying to knock someone back when they're in the fog of war, make it a little bit more consistent, stuff like that. Pretty cool. Muradin. Crowd control now has a 7-second cooldown reduction maximum. Obviously, you could, like, just spam your W thing non-stop on, like, the Zerg swarms on Braxis and stuff like that. It's not a commonly seen talent, so interesting. 7-second cooldown reduction. Still pretty big, but I think just to limit the spam on big minion waves or something. Thunderstrike and healing static, the icon colors have been swapped, which makes sense. So green for healing, blue for damage. Okay, I like it. And then Zarya, feel the heat, level 1. Basic attacks that deal bonus damage in melee range will now show a crit indicator. That seems like a really good idea. Make it much more obvious when you... I think it's 50% bonus damage when they're in melee range. So make it more obvious when you're actually achieving that. So that's pretty cool. Anything else? Anything big here? Getting damage caps. Several talents deal damage based on the thing. Okay, so there's maybe some issues. I'm not sure what that bug was, but there's something to do with damage scaling from talents and stuff that's been fixed. Not sure if that's going to be buffs or nerfs. Okay, and then it doesn't look like it's anything too big. Chitinous plating is now being fixed for Nubkeks. That's pretty cool. Okay, stage dive. Okay, Div. I'm just trying to see if there's anything important here. Lava's wave cooldown would be paused during Zeratil's Void Prison. Okay. Rhaegar was being pulled out of Ghost Wolf form upon dealing damage from Ragnar's Blast Wave. Alright. Spirit Swoop will now correctly deal damage to monsters. Okay. Okay, looks like there's nothing else too important here. Nothing too important here. Killing enemy heroes with post-death states will do Death Dealer. Okay. The Hunt voiceover will no longer play early. And same with that stuff. Okay, so nothing big in terms of bugs. Big stuff for this patch. Lucio, obviously, pretty big deal. We've got the new Warcraft crossover thing. Brawls, things have been reduced if people play Brawls. I don't know. But yeah, Lucio. The love bundles and stuff like that. Falstad, making Hinterland Blast better. New Heroic, basically for Greymane. Bit of a nerf to Ragnar's, but he's still incredibly strong. Thrall's Heroics, working more consistently. A slew of Valeera buffs, a bit of a nerf, though, to her E ability. Very much focused, I feel like, on just her Q as well, in Stealth, Ambush. Pretty cool. Talent tier swap for Varian, that's a pretty big deal, and pretty scary for Tank Varian. I've got to be honest. Abathur, going to perform a little bit better. And then huge Murky rework. I think that's most of the stuff here. And then just some small things. Small little tweaks here and there. Nothing too big. But yeah, big thing. Murky rework. That could have a pretty big impact. I'm very excited to test it out, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. And like I said, do stay tuned. Give the video a thumbs up if you'd enjoyed it. And yeah, I can't wait to see you for some PTR gameplay. I don't think it's up quite yet. And I also don't want to do my password and stuff live, so I'm going to try that out, but it'll probably be tomorrow, unfortunately, because it's, yeah, I'm just not in a position to do it right now. Probably tomorrow you can expect a Lucio video, a Murky video, And then let me know, do you actually want to see multiple Murky builds? How excited are you guys for the Murky rework? Let me know down below and I'll do multiple ones if that's what you guys want. Guys, thank you for watching. I'm slightly see-through. I guess this is slightly green. Interesting. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye.